Reverse ratios is another way of describing complicated ratio questions. And they're very similar to reverse percentages in that something has happened. And the question normally is, what was the original condition? Or sometimes it's, what is the current position? And I think it's always good to have one method that always works. So you're not constantly trying to think of how to solve the problem. And that method is the method we've seen before when we were doing sharing by ratios. It's creating that table. Here's an example. A piece of string is divided into two pieces in the ratio 3:5. The longest piece of string is 205 cm long. How long was the original piece of string? Right, here's our table. This has got all the information we're given. The short piece has 3 ratio units. The long piece has 5. The total is 8. We don't know how long it is. So where do we start? Well, we're just going to create a value. We're going to create a value for this here. The value is x. We don't know what it is, but we know that short is going to be 3x long and long is going to be 5x long. But we know the longest piece of string is 205. So we know that 5x from here is 205 cm. We obviously divide by 5. X is equal to 41. Brilliant. We know what x is. X is the same. How long was the original piece of string? Well, there were 8 units. So 8 units. The original piece was 8x. So that's 328. The check, you won't like this. The check is to complete the table. We know it's 328. Let's put 328 there. And then we'd run through it. 328 divided by 8. Ooh, let me see. 41, 41, 41. 3 times 41. 5 times 41. Oh, that's 205. And then we add it up and you're going to get 328. You're not going to do it unless you have an enormous amount of time at the end. Let's have a look at another question. Daniel, Gabrielle and Hadley share some money. The difference between the amount of money Gabrielle receives and the amount of money Hadley receives is 196 euros. So it's in these ratios 3, 5, 9. Work out the amount of money Daniel receives. Right, well, we just need to find out how much money there is, the total amount of money. Let's get this table going. Daniel, Gabrielle, Hadley, 3, 5, 9. 17 ratio units. Now, we don't know what the value of each of those ratio units are because we don't know how much money there was. So if we were to fill this in, we'd have x's and we'd have the amounts 3x, 5x and 9x. Right, but we're given some information, aren't we? The difference between the amount of money Gabrielle receives, which is 5x, and the amount of money Hadley receives, which is 9x, and that is 196. So the difference between 9x and 5x, 9x minus 5x is 4x. And we know that's 196 euros. Right, so we'll divide by 4. X is equal to 49. Right, well that makes sense. So if x is 49, work out the amount of money Daniel receives. Daniel gets 3x. Daniel gets 3x equals 147. Easy. But it's made easy because we can see all of the information. And the more you do these calculations, the more you realise, I hope, that seeing everything is the best way. Sure, there's probably a faster way of doing this, but I know that this is correct. And if I wanted to check it, I'd complete the table if I had time. So I'd say 17 ratio units times, or each one's worth 49. I'd put a number in there, and I'd work through that number divided by 17, blah, blah, blah. It's a super check, but only if you've got time. Now, here's your opportunity to show your skills. Give you a few seconds to freeze, pause and practice. I'll give you the answer in a moment. Yeah, you guessed it. I'm on the table again. Short piece is 4 ratio units. Long piece is 7. There's a total of 11. We don't know how long it is. But we do know that the length of the shortest piece is 100. So we know these are, we'll just call it x. And we know therefore the amount would be 4x and 7x. So we know the shortest piece is 100 cm. So this 4x is equal to 100 cm. Divide by 4, x equals 25. The original piece was 11x long, so that's 275. Easy when you know how, but you can waste a lot of time on this. Complete the table if you want to check it. You probably won't because it'll take a lot of time, but sometimes you're kicking your heels in an exam. That is a hard question if you don't have a method, and I hope you'll use my method. It's still tricky. It's not easy, but it is doable. Anyway, if you've enjoyed this video, or even if you haven't, please subscribe and share them with your friends. See you soon. Bye-bye.